Okay, everybody, Happy New Year. I was expecting not to do a video until next week, as I was expecting the New Year's first full trading day of New Year's to be calm and quiet and slow until the midweek, but boy, was I wrong. Okay, so this is Brandon Kim. I am the leader of your community, Galaxy Market. And this is sort of an emergency kind of a video because, I couldn't sit tight and enjoy my New Year's weekend before all hell breaks loose in the coming year. So I'm presenting to you the current situation that's going on. U.S. attacks Venezuela and what that means for our market outlook, why it happened, and our analysis. Today is January 4th, 2026. Oh boy, that's hard. Approximately 7:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Sunday as I bring you this video so that we can make sense of all this that is happening. So we have a lot to talk about, and it is not what it seems, so let's get started. Okay, so here's the disclaimer. If you're not part of our community and watching this on YouTube or X.com, which is on a delayed basis, I want you to pause this and read the disclaimer, and if you agree, please move forward. And of course, thank you for everybody following us on x.com/galaxy.market. There's a lot of commentaries going on regarding the subject that we're talking about, and make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube as well. All right, so it begins. I've always said in the past that bankers take you to war, and this is no different. Bankers, especially with this fractional reserve banking system, print money out of thin air, hyperinflate the debt, and basically rob everybody, every citizen, hardworking people of their life savings and their purchasing power. And then they take you to war, or create wars, or create strife, geopolitical tensions, false flags, or whatever that may happen. But really, throughout history, if you are a student of history, bankers take you to war after they basically beat the crap out of their currency system. And any man-made currency eventually goes to zero. And this is prevalent in any study of every single major empires and major superpowers of the world. Their currency debasement really leads to war. So that's tenet number one at Galaxy Market. So USA takes out Venezuela, captures Maduro, and takes over governance, and basically taking over their entire national resources. And Trump has come out and said that we will run it, and we are taking over our oil. And I need more clarification how the Venezuelan oil is our oil, but we'll find out short enough. I mean, I guess to the victor goes the spoils. Let's see how the Chinese and the Russians and the global countries react to this situation. USA has the strongest and mightiest army, and that was very, very on on full display actually on when this happened. In 32 minutes, they were able to knock out all of Venezuelan military capabilities, unless the military stood down, which is also another possibility, and managed to capture Maduro and his wife and extradite them to United States. That is breathtakingly efficient and scary at the same time. And so, we woke up on the 3rd, January 3rd, with this news, which was yesterday. And it was just unbelievable. I was hoping for a quiet New Year's weekend because it really is quiet traditionally. But was I wrong? However, the warning signs were there that this was going to be happening. And so I want to take you through a logical step and then lead to a conclusion of what this all means and how to trade this market, what it all means for our number one trading vehicle, which is gold and silver in our group right now, and what it also means briefly for the stock market. And we'll stay within that parameters. and because most of you already have positions in precious metals, okay, and we'll go over those aspects. But the warning signs were there. And one of the first warning signs was that during the New Year's Eve party, Melania was, okay, sorry, that didn't work out very well. Sorry about that. Regardless, Melania was basically dressed in this silver dress, and they were playing High Ho Silver, playing live in the backgrounds. And so I don't think anything that happens in our world now is by accident. Everything is coordinated. And this was a telltale sign. It's just that no one was really paying attention. They thought Trump was basically, celebrating the silver price going higher. We really didn't know what this really meant. Now, we do know that on January 1st, and I thought that this was basically a in your face to the Chinese, basically creating a silver export ban on January 1st. And, that's what I chalked it up to. But this was the sign that something was up. Okay. Now, on January 3rd, we knew what happened. We know what happened. Okay, and U.S. started to attack Venezuela and took out Maduro and extradited him and his wife to the U.S. And so this is what I call the U.S. bankruptcy process proceedings. Okay, you basically categorize assets and resources and gather them. And this is what's happening. And, if a country is declaring bankruptcy, they're also becoming protectionist. And if bankers are going to take you to war, basically you start gobbling up your neighbors and resources. And that's what I think is happening. And so this is, clear-cut way of the United States strategy in terms of getting ourselves out of debt, by basically becoming more protectionist, more aggressive, and taking back the resources that they feel is rightfully theirs. And we'll find out more why the U.S. feels that Venezuelan oils are ours. Maybe we had a role in building their infrastructure before Maduro took over, or Chavez took over. But we'll find out what's going on here. But definitely, the U.S. bankruptcy process is happening right here. Okay, and so basically, it took 32 minutes of military operation. I think it put the world in a shock and awe situation, just how efficient the American military is. It just put the world on notice that Trump is not effing around, and rightfully so. I think United States has been taken advantage of throughout the years, and now, you bring in somebody like Trump, who's basically a patriot and wants to make America great again. I guess it's MAGA movement, and he's executing it. Everyone probably thought he was joking, and now he's showing you, don't F with us. So here's Pete Hegseth reposting what Donald Trump said. He's basically saying he took out Venezuela, took out Nicolas Maduro and his wife, and flew them out of the country to be tried with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. Okay, and so let's call it for what it is. This is a resource grab in the name of freedom, but what's the real reason? The real reason is that the entire world is broke and in debt, and the current fractional reserve banking system is no longer trusted or is broken. Okay, we are in the last days, or not even last days. I think basically the fractional reserve banking system, the central banking system, is on its deathbed right now. And as a new monetary regime is coming, and it is coming, folks, there's going to be turmoil. There's going to be shift in geopolitical powers, tensions, basically gathering resources again. And what is that resource? Okay. Well, everyone thinks it's because of narco-terrorism instead of the resources. That's the reason why the U.S. went into Venezuela to take out Maduro. That's partially true, okay? But is it really because of narco-terrorism? No, it's deeper than that. And I'm not going to go into the political and, moral side of what's going on. I'm not going to be talking about like the election interferences or the trafficking, or just the other unscrupulous things that may be going on with other politicians that may have been in bed with the Maduro regime, okay, and that are in Senate and in Congress right now. I'm not going to talk about that, but consider this. U.S. can never pay their debt traditionally because we are bankrupt, and Trump is here to declare bankruptcy and go through the proceedings and get us out of bankruptcy. So he is getting the balance sheet in order for the bankruptcy. Protectionism and Monroe Doctrine, which is basically westward migration, basically manifest destiny and grab what you can and just expand the excellence of Americanism. It's basically expansion and colonization. That's what's happening. And so first thing that's happening right now is Venezuela. And this has put South America and the rest of the world on notice. Okay? Venezuela is rich in oil reserves, but there's more to it than that. They have the largest iron and mineral ore, including silver. Okay, so that's basically what we're dealing with. Silver is a 21st century war metal, and this is what wars are going to be fought over silver, because without silver, you can't make electronics, you can't make medicines. It goes into solar panels, batteries, and everything's going to go towards solar energy, battery energy with AI infrastructure, requiring more and more chips and everything else. And silver is basically the limiting factor. Okay, silver has also been the most suppressed asset in the world, and that's about to change. And I think this attack in Venezuela is basically signaling that effect. Gold and silver has been warning about this happening, right? Gold is also suppressed. You think gold is trading at near $4,300, $4,500 when Bitcoin, a digital quote unquote gold, is trading in the 90,000s right now. Is that even, does that even make sense? It makes sense if you think about how the new monetary system is going to be coming. So what I want to talk about is that geopolitical tensions, domestic tensions, and kinetic war requires more money printing, right? So we need a new money system, but we have to get rid of the current debt. It is highly inflationary. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to hyperinflate themselves out of this debt. Okay, and basically war is very effective, and geopolitical tensions and protectionism, resource hoarding is going to be able to facilitate that. So, U.S. strategy for its bankruptcy reorganization is to hyperinflate the debt, debase the currency to zero, our current U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar is not going away, but the way it is currently valued is going away. Okay, so those of you that have money in the banks, that think you have money in your 401ks and stock market, and you're basically marching to the bank thinking that you have a lot of money, you're going to be in for a rude awakening as the currency debases and as the world starts going to hard assets, including gold and silver, oil, just about anything that's happening. Okay, so but the new monetary system is going to be backed by digital stable coins, and Trump has made that very, very clear. And if you look at any of the world central banks, that's where they're going. It's going to be backed by gold and silver and natural resources. And natural resources, not only just oil, not only just food or water, but gold and silver. Okay? So the goal is to maintain aggressive and preemptive stance to protect resources and sovereignty. And that's all that is that every countries are going to be fending for themselves. There is no more like European Union, type of, in the future anyways, organizations anymore, because people aren't going to stand for it. Each countries are not going to stand for it. And this concept of collectivism is going away. Okay, this concept that somehow socialist manifests and communism is somehow better for the masses. That's for the lazy people, folks. Okay, those are for the people that basically don't have anything or doesn't want to do anything, and so the opposition to this movement is basically the paid protesters that are popping up everywhere. These are right now. As soon as Trump attacked, apparently people with, professionally printed signs are appearing in Chicago and New York protesting. But have you looked at the population of these people? These are basically white, middle class or upper middle class Caucasians, right? Protesting this. While and if you look at the disparity, if you look at what the Venezuelans in Venezuela are doing, they are jumping up and down in joy because they've been repressed for so long. It used to be one of the richest South American countries, and now it is one of the poorest and the most repressed societies. And now they've tasted some freedom, and so that's the battle between communism and socialism, which is the woke ideology that has taken place over many, many years. And that is coming apart. And it's going to come apart through protectionism, geopolitical tensions, domestic tensions, and resource hoarding. Okay? We have entered a new phase of the New World Order in 2026, and it's starting off with a bang. I thought we'd at least get a week or two of, quiet, but this is what's happening. This is why China imposed a January 1st, 2026 silver export ban. Why? Because they knew, I think, the attack was coming. Okay, there's a lot of people in the Senate and in Congress that have really gotten rich over, the spread of this woke idealism, socialism, and communism. I mean, New York has a communist mayor, right? Think about that. Go look in Minnesota, what's happening with the community over there. All right. Well, that ideology is failing because the hardworking people that work and pay taxes, are looking around going, "Oh my God, my life is worse. I work twice as hard, or I don't even have a job, but these people are getting freebies and handouts at the cost of hyperinflating the U.S. debt base and devaluing our currency." And it all goes to these fraudulent things. Okay. So how did China know the attack was coming? They probably got tipped off. Okay. Or it might be coordinated. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But at the same time, this January 1st, 2026 silver export ban was probably likely in response to the fact that they knew Venezuela attack was coming. There are also reports that over 870 million ounces of silver was flown out of Venezuela the day before the attack. So we'll find out what all of those, if they're true or not. But, rumors these conspiratorial rumors just end up being true. I'm going full on conspiracy today. So let's look at some charts now, shall we? So we're going to start with some of the macro charts. And I'm going to just do it really quickly here because otherwise I'll be talking forever. I believe China is and Russia and everybody else, if they still have U.S. debt, they're going to be dumping U.S. debt. And guess what? TNX, 10-year Treasury yield, has been moving higher. I think when we open on Monday, we're going even higher. And that means that people are dumping bonds. That means the Fed has their work cut out for them to, this is their only lifeblood. And this is all they care about. Okay, so watch the stock markets, but I just think that we're just going to chop around between this level and this level, up and down, until something really big breaks. Okay, but pay close attention. ES and NQ, okay, especially NQ, is on that inflection line. If we break down below this 24,800, it's game over. If S&P 500 ES can get below 6750 this week, then we have a crash that's coming. Okay, and these are things that can crash markets. All right, silver, we've been bouncing around this critical level, and they could not break it down. So I think this is really the base. But on this news, I believe we're going to be gapping higher. We're going to start testing that 82.67 again. Okay, for those of you that think silver is overbought, you're looking at the wrong chart, folks. Okay, I think gold is going to start breaking about 45.84 once again, and then start finishing around 4,600 to 4,700 this week. Okay, the dollar is rising, right? But you know what? Dollar is usually a safe haven asset, right? When there's trouble, there's war, signs of war, people flock to U.S. treasuries and dollar, but they're not doing that anymore. right? Why? Why would you hold U.S. Treasuries and U.S. dollars when United States, if they don't like you, they can just go in and just basically whack the crap out of you with their military might, right? So they're looking for alternative safe haven asset. What would that be? What would an alternative safe haven asset be? Okay, and that is silver and gold. Okay, and watch. And this has set up that catalyst for gold and silver to now stop basing and start moving higher. Okay, so that's what we got for now. So let's look at silver real quick. All right. This is a fake out, folks. I mean, look at it. This is basically everyone's looking at this RSI and saying it's overbought, but RSI is a momentum indicator. This is going to pull back and it's going to make a new higher high and a higher high, and it's just going to do that because silver has just broken out of its 45-year-old cup and a handle base. Okay, this bearish engulfing candle, it's not really a bearish engulfing candle. It did not engulf the entire body of this move. Okay, this was on a very thin volume with a lot of margin hikes and Fed repo. By the way, banks have tapped about $130 billion of repo on New Year's Eve. Okay, and New Year's Day. If you combine those two, that they only tap that when banks are in trouble because they're getting margin called here. Okay, but it's not who you think it is. It's not JP Morgan Chase. Okay, I think it's probably UBS, Citibank, and Bank of America, Wells Fargo, if they're still playing. Okay, those are the ones that are in trouble. Probably Deutsche Bank too. Deutsche Bank just got their asses handed to them on Friday, right? JP Morgan Chase shook the tree and just basically took 3 million ounces of their silver into their vaults, I believe. Okay. JP Morgan doesn't play fair, but you know what? JP Morgan Chase is the Fed, folks. All right, here's the weekly. Here's all you need to know about this right here is that on Friday we regained and stayed above that 80 MA. Okay. Yes, I understand the RSI is coming down, but we still have bullish divergence on this pullback. Okay, and you're gonna say, well, the stochastic is turning over. You know, it's gonna be bearish. Watch on Monday and watch throughout next week. See what happens. Okay, I believe this was a fake out, and silver is now basically coiled spring, and it's going to break out higher. All right. What does that mean for the broader markets? What are the markets telling you? Markets are putting in black candles. It's on a downward trend. Everything has negative divergences, right? Okay. Don't let that thin volume trade fool you, okay? Markets are ready to roll over on this war news and instability, protectionism, and basically looking, people are not going to want to be in risk assets, okay? Here is silver on the weekly, all right? Just if we break through this red dotted line, that's our major uptrend line. If it breaks, we're coming all the way down here and start testing these price targets very, very quickly, might I add. QQQ has already is front leading the SPY. It is moving lower. Okay, it is broken below the 80 MA. Okay, it is targeting that 20 SMA, and it's going to start targeting these price target levels. Okay. So pretty much that's what I have is that this week we're just going to focus on silver price movements. Okay, we're going to be focusing on the cryptos because cryptos on the news of war, everybody thought cryptos were going to crash because of this war news. No way. Cryptos are going to play a major role in this introduction of new monetary system, and that's happening. The flip of the switch moment is happening right now as we speak. I do want to go over where we are in this situation, right? So if you really think about it, I believe we're on the precipice. We're now getting into this war kind of scenario. And this was probably like the New Year's Eve type of pump. This is the phase that we're looking at. Look at all these interventions. If you want this chart, take a look. Okay, I beat this dead horse to a pulp at this point. Okay, this is, I think, where we are now. Okay, so let's talk about XRP. Okay, nobody wants it at $1.93. XRP hit like $1.81 again all last week. $1.83. Nobody bought them. Because everybody thought, including myself, that there might be a move a little bit lower. You have to just accumulate just methodically, okay? Because there's going to be people lined up, and this is coming, not today or not tomorrow, but this is what's coming. XRP is going to basically become the reserve asset of the world, okay? And funny thing is, XRP and most cryptos are rallying off of war news, right? We're very big on XRP, XDC. That's the only one that hasn't really moved. Litecoin, Bitcoin, World Liberty. Okay, that's gone up almost 17%. Okay, is it going to go up in a straight line? No. But XRP has started making its move. Okay, I think that, on that news, it started to break out from this low 180s. Now we're at the 209.59. We're actually, as we speak right now, as I posted that, we're coming into 211. I think we're just going to start moving. I think we're going to start hitting our new next targets and start breaking out above the old highs of 361, and then start challenging that $11 to $12 mark, maybe possibly hitting 22 to 31 mark. In the near future. Okay. The question is, are you going to get it then, or are you going to get it when it's $1,000? Okay. All right. So here's the bottom line: silver grabbed by U.S. and China. This is the global war metal that they're going to be competing over. Okay. Don't worry about the COMEX, pricing. Those are the banks' just shenanigans. But the physical demand is going to outweigh that. Because not only is there a sovereign demand, there is industrial demand, right? People like Tesla for solar, China, South Korea, Taiwan, chip makers. I mean, it just goes on and on. And I don't believe actually COMEX has the silver that they say they have. Okay. And, for those of you owning SLV or paper, ETFs with promises of silver backing it that you can redeem it anytime you want, I'm telling you right now, COMEX and LBMA already spent that. Okay. The Venezuela attack signals protectionism, and U.S. bankruptcy proceeding is proceeding as usual. Okay, U.S. is going to grab the Panama Canal. They're probably going to take Venezuela and all the oil-rich assets around our sphere of influence. Trump's already talking about Mexico not cooperating. I mean, just pay attention to that. We've already heard him talk about Greenland and how he wants to purchase Greenland. Okay, maybe the Dutch are going to be more willing to sell it to us after watching what happened to Maduro. But, this is not the right way to do it, but this is the way it's going to happen because bankers take you to war. 2026 is the big year of protectionism and hyperinflation. And, the thing is that, all of these things are also biblical in nature. And, you just need to, sit back and see how God is going to let all these things happen. 2026, you got to be on your guard. You got to be quick. Okay, you got to be on the right side. Gold and silver is God's money, folks. All right, you either have it or you don't. Okay, and so even though they seem very expensive right now, APMEX, I think they're all out of stock. But 100-ounce bars supposedly going for like $82, but you can't get them. It's delayed. And you can't get the American Silver Eagles, but if you can find them, even if you have to pay $85, $92, not financial advice, you do what you need to do, okay? But, just like that XRP chart, when silver's at $200, $300 in a year or two from now, maybe higher, I think silver could hit $600 by end of this year, okay? I really think that we're going to break out above 100 shortly here, okay? So, watch gold and silver. Parabolic moves have been basing. Expect a violent move higher by midweek. Silver, 83 to 92. It's not out of the question. I'm being very conservative here, right? Gold, 4,500 to 4,700. Again, very conservative. Venezuela was always about resource grab, but pay attention. It was about silver, okay? China and Russia has taken out about 890 million ounces of silver, according to recent reports, before the American attack. Cryptos, many think it will go down on war news, and it didn't. In fact, as I showed you, it's rallying. Okay, crypto, the rally is a little late, But cryptos are going to play a major role in this new monetary system that's coming. Watch China and the world dump U.S. treasuries this week, and that's going to keep the Fed busy and probably the Silver Slam crew, because they're not getting the money they need to rig the markets lower. Okay, and plus we know where the bottom, the base is. We have formed the base at 69.33. This is not over, just the beginning. Volatility is about to increase as we go, but keep an eye on your spies. But I just don't think that that's where we need to keep our attention at. It needs to be about how are you positioned for gold and silver, and how are you going to trade that, okay? Because this is a generational move that is about to come. All right, thank you so much for watching. Follow me at Galaxy Market. Comment and like us, share us, and above all, subscribe at YouTube if you're watching us there, or join my community. Galaxy Essentials, $49. Start the New Year's off with a bang. This week, guys, we're not going to get a watch list because I want us to be focused solely on how we're going to benefit from the cryptos. It's crypto's still not late, man. It's still cheap, okay? And also in silver and gold, okay? And, that's all that matters. You either have those or you don't. We're about to get really, really serious here. If anything changes in my stance, I will update the watch list and charts. But right now, use this video as your guide. The Venezuela attack was not about narco-terrorism, folks. Okay? It is about protectionism. Anyways, if you want to work with me, inquire about working with me, email me at coachbrandon@protonmail.com and schedule a consultation, or click on the link or the description profile to find out about how to join my group. Otherwise, Happy New Year's. We're starting off the New Year's with a bang, off running, unexpected. But be careful out there. Okay, things are about to get real, and be safe, and God bless you. Bye-bye.